help you. So this is a PowerPoint I have that is basically new products for Q1 of 2025. Plus, we have some new surprises at the at NAFM this year. So if you're there, stop by the booth. If not, I'll make sure and share all that information with Natasha, and she'll get it out to you. We're real excited about this new product we released late last year called Elevation Wall Series Wall Shelving. You can see it pictured here on the right. It has all the same Cambro characteristics as our shelving. You can see the shelf plates here look the same. The material looks the same as our Elements Extra. It's because it is. It's just not as thick as the posts. But what are some of the benefits of it? It's very easy to clean. It's very hygienic. You can take these shelf plates right off the frame, run them through the dishwasher. You can take the frame off, run it through the dishwasher. You can take all these components off, run them through the dishwasher. They're never going to rust or flake. So if this was over a prep station and not a 3-compartment dishwashing station, you wouldn't have to worry about anything flaking off and falling into the food. And then its durability, it's going to be able to last. It's never going to rust. It's never going to corrode. So how does it go together? There is an aluminum track. Any of you who have used wall shelving in the past, you're probably familiar with that design. It's an aluminum extruded wall track. And then we have the wall uprights here that go up and down. They vary in different lengths, all the way down to 15 inches. So if you just wanted to do a plain wall shelf with a short upright, you could do that. Then we have the brackets. The brackets hook on to the upright, and those are the arms coming out. And then we have a frame right here that sits, and then we have the wall shelves that sit on top of the frame. Once you use it, it sounds more complicated than it really is putting together. If you put our shelving together, you'll have no problem with this. We also offer an ABS plastic pegboard that we show here, and then all the different stainless steel pegboard accessories, hooks, baskets, and different things like that. So we sell these as 3 different kits. We have a sink station kit, a prep, and a task station kit. They're all priced very competitively with everything out in the marketplace. So there's 2 different ways you can purchase it. You can go into Auto Quotes and build a kit yourself, or we have these 3 kits that are already pre-built that give you that opportunity. Also, sometime, hopefully in the first quarter, we're going to have probably 4 or 5 different just single shelf kits, which will just be a 15-inch upright, and then just one vented shelf from 24 inches all the way up to 48 inches. So we'll have some different sizes there. So real excited about this. Never rust, never corrode, easy to clean. We feel this is going to really take our shelving to the next level. This just shows you a different configuration, just to kind of show you some of the flexibility of the unit. For those of you who have used our shelving design service in the past, we offer that same type of service for the wall shelf. So if you're in that situation and you would like a design, reach out to your local Cambro rep. They can definitely help you with that. If you feel like you have a customer who is a chain or a multi-unit operator or a large opportunity and you need to show them a unit, feel free to reach out to your local rep. They all have sample units and they have more at their disposal. So we're sometimes, obviously, on these things, people, especially new things, people want to see them, put their hands on it before they purchase it. So we're happy to help out with that.
Hey, Tim, we've got a quick question.
Yes. Yeah, go for it.
Amy would like to know, is there a wire grid versus the pegboard?
No, pegboard only.
Nope.
No wire grid.
Pegboard only.
Yeah, and no plans for that. We are going to introduce a 24-inch wide. So this one's 36, and that's the only size we have right now on the pegboard. We are working on a 24-inch. And hopefully we'll have that, I don't know, hopefully sometime before the first half of the year in 25.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. We also have a video, so if somebody wants to use, who needs a little help with the instruction, we have that. I can send you all the QR code. I can send you the slide if you want. Just reach out to me and let me know. Last year, we introduced some upgrades to our Elements series shelving and rebranded it as Elements Extra, as you see here. So what are some of the differences? On the post connectors, they're now solid. Before they were webbed underneath on the post connectors, and they could harbor bacteria. And obviously operators weren't super excited about that. So we changed that to being solid, easy to clean. We added more material into the posts, so they're a little more sturdier. Also, they're a little wider and have wider grooves. In the middle here, you see we have a new single piece dovetail. It used to be two pieces that you would clip on, and now it's just one. So it's much faster to put together. Also, there's more material in those, a little more durable. And then on our corner connector right here, where we do the perpendicular angle, the 90-degree angle, it used to be there was the weight bearing capacity would be reduced by half. So this section here, where we're attaching to this traverse, this used to be reduced by half. Now there's no weight bearing reduction, so 800 pounds per shelf. We also added a high density storage unit for this. So that's the bottom track rail system, where the mobile units in the middle with stationary ones on the end. It just gives you increased capacity. So we feel like, and then there was no price increase. Price stayed the same for the elements. So we really feel like we have a really great product here. We continue to improve it. So we're excited about all these different improvements with Elements Extra. It's selling really well. Never rust, never corrode, easy to clean. Once again, if somebody wants to see a demo of a unit, reach out to your local rep. We can help you with that. But the Elements Extra has been really a great product for us. So the more accessories that we offer for shelving, the more shelving we sell. So we're not the smartest bunch out there, but we can figure out, okay, so we'll continue to introduce more accessories. This is our wine rack, and it's been really surprisingly popular, 14-inch deep or 18-inch deep. You can stack these cradles 3 high, as seen here. So you can put them on existing shelving, or you can buy a complete starter unit, either the 14-inch deep or 18-inch deep, and go that way. So it'll fit on our Elements Extra or Premium series shelving, shown here on Premium. So been a very popular, very affordable way. Again, especially expensive bottles of wine, people don't want labels damaged. Our unit works much better in keeping the labels intact than a wire one. A couple years ago, we introduced the universal storage rack, and this has been very popular. It's a very affordable way to maximize your vertical storage space on a shelving unit. So these are 24-inch deep or 21-inch deep. And the 2 panels together, I think the list price is $160, so your discount is $50 and $10. So it's a very affordable way for somebody to maximize their space. My running joke on this is if you know a chef who is OCD, this is definitely the product to show them, because it gives them the ability to organize their space in their coolers and freezers or dry storage. So the 2 panels are adjustable widthwise. So if you see in the picture on the bottom right, you can put food pans, you can put pizza dough boxes, food boxes, sheet pans, anything that has a collar, you can adjust the width and be able to hang product on there. We also sell one each panel separately for half the price. So if you want to do 3 panels like this middle row, you can buy a starter kit, the 2 panels, and you can buy an extra single panel. So once again, this has been very well received. You can see here, it just can make people much more efficient. If I need this middle pan, I don't have to take the 2 pans off above it. I just grab that one, and then I'm on my way, and I don't have to mess with the other ones. It makes me more efficient. It reduces the risk for cross-contamination. That's just been a really effective new product for us. Last year at NRA, we introduced a new size on our ProCart Ultras, and that is the one in the middle, the PCU 1600. That one holds 16 full-size 4-inch deep food pans. These are adjustable hot or cold, and they can also be used as passive. So anybody who's doing food transportation, which it's not just caterers anymore, it's universities, it's K through 12, it's healthcare, cutting across all the segments that we work with, chains. Um, so it just gives them the ability to unplug it and then plug it back in when you arrive at the destination. So you get that boost of hot or cold. What I always tell reps is if you're quoting one of these and you quote it, the most popular is hot on top, cold on bottom. But usually people will come back and buy another hot module because they're very easy to switch out. There's just 4 bolts that hold it in place. So you can switch out the modules pretty easily. And people will normally buy an extra hot module because people figure out, well, I'll just throw ice in something to keep things cold. But transporting products and keeping it hot's a little more challenging. Okay, food pan trolleys. These have been incredibly popular because of they're very quiet, they're easy to clean, and they take up less space in a cooler or freezer or dry storage area. So we've all walked into a kitchen and have seen a sheet pan rack, and then there's a sheet pan with a bunch of food pans on it. This gives you the ability to just use food pans only. So there's 4 different SKUs. There's one set where there's a half size and a full set size. That's the GN11. That means 1 food pan per rail. And then the 2-in-1 is 2 food pans per rail. We also offer a cover and a pan stop. These are very quiet, easy to clean. You can see the half size one, we have a cutting board on top. It could be used as a mobile prep station. But I famously had a chef tell me, Tim, I don't prepare lasagna in a sheet pan. And I said, good point, chef. And I use a food pan. So this is just a smaller footprint in the kitchen, in the cooler and freezer. These have been very successful. Once again, if you have an operator who wants to test one, reach out to your local rep. Happy to help you out with that. If anybody watches any football and you've seen the Jersey Mike commercials, you might have seen our plastic ultimate sheet pan rack in the background behind Danny DeVito. So these are similar to the food pan trolley, all plastic sheet pan rack. They ship knocked down, so they save money in freight and also potential damage. You can see there's the panels on the side. It's really pretty easy to put together. We have 3-inch spacer or 1-inch spacer. Then we have a half under counter, a half size, and a full size. So there's so there are 6 SKUs that we have total. Same pan stop fits on this unit as well. The panels on the sides are heat tolerant. They can take sheet pans up to 350 degrees, low maintenance. We sold a bunch to a hospital system because they were just so quiet and they were amazed at how quiet they were compared to a metal rack. So these have been super popular. We had demand from people like Jersey Mike's. We also sold a bunch to Albertsons, the chain out on the West Coast. And the reason being is they felt that there was a liability with putting a metal pan on a metal rack. You get those little metal shavings and they were falling into their baking products. So anybody who does, if you have customers who do a lot of baking, this might be a good product to talk to them about because this could reduce their liability risks. Also, you just take the top off and you can replace any part on it and then get it back into service. I think we've all seen plenty of these sitting out at by the loading dock in the garbage where they're throwing old ones away. CVC mobile vending cart. So this is a great item. Actually, the free personalization ended at the end of 2024. Sorry, I'll have that deleted. But we can personalize this wrap on the front. It's $300 to personalize the wrap. On the back, you can put our go boxes in there to hold stock. So just give somebody mobile retail, be it a school, K through 12, higher ed, but they've also been very popular in stadiums, arenas, and also healthcare. So anywhere where you want to have some versatile mobile vending, this gives you that option in a more modern type look. has a great caster on it, and these have been, again, also very popular. Last year, we added 2 new meal delivery carts specific to 15 by 20 trays. We have one that holds 16 and one that holds 20. These are very quiet in comparison to a metal cart, which is great because obviously healthcare facilities are judged on noise. So these are very quiet, very durable. They're less expensive than a metal cart, so they have a lot going for them. So on the 1520, we have a short and a tall version, and then the 16 is just one. It's more of a tall type cart. So these have been really popular. Again, if you want to see a sample or you have somebody who wants to test one, we're happy to do that for you. Service Cart Pro, last year we introduced 2 new sizes. We added a large and a small. We introduced the medium a few years ago. It sold really well, so we decided to add 2 new sizes. We also have a medium size with an enclosed one side, which you see up here in the top right. So that's obviously if it was a white tablecloth type restaurant and they don't want to have people see bus boxes, dirty bus boxes, you have the ability to hide them. These have molded in handles, tongue and groove system here for the trash can and the silverware holder. We can also personalize them. So you can see up here, which totally cracks me up because we go into places and it'll say this is Bob's cart for receiving. Don't touch the cart, or deli, or whatever it is. So now we have the ability to personalize them. We can also do a custom color on this, or like the Pro Card Ultras. The minimum is only 1. The price is the same. However, you're just going to have to wait a little longer because it goes to the back of the line as far as the production schedule goes. But we can do those. Last year, we did a school district in my territory for these Service Card Pros. They bought like 40 of them, and they wanted them blue. And then in yellow, they had the school logo with food services, of course, on it. So it worked out really well for them. We have 2 new disposable lids that have the straw slot. These are targeted for either healthcare, but we had a lot of luck with these with chains and restaurants. Instead of giving out a kid's cup, they give out a tumbler, and then they just put the lid on top. So it reduces their disposable spend. So instead of buying a disposable kid's cup, they buy the plastic tumbler. They can reuse that. And then the disposable lid's much, much less expensive than a disposable type of cup for kids. So that's worked really well for us. The year before last, we introduced the new Fresh Press storage containers. We added polypropylene material. So now we have 2 materials, polycarbonate and polypropylene. And we have 7 different sizes, 2 quart to 22 quart. I think most of you have seen these. You guys are stocking them. We appreciate all your support. We've been really excited with how popular they've become. Again, if you need samples, reach out to your local rep. I know a lot of times operators want to put their hands on it, and we can do that. These have been exceptional sellers. I know I worked with Natasha and Scott to give you guys had some personalized samples with your logo on them. These are the 1/2 quart and 1 quart polypropylene mini containers. And on those, obviously, these are targeted to replace single-use plastics like deli containers, or if you walk into a cooler and a freezer, you see somebody using butter tubs, cottage cheese tubs, single-use plastics that are not meant to be used over and over. This product is meant to replace those. The lid fits really well, and it will definitely keep your food fresher longer. Reminder on our Go boxes, we make ours ourselves in North Carolina, and we have the broadest assortment. We have the best price, and we have tons of them in stock, and they're not far away from you all. So we have a great price on a dolly. We have the extender. We have a beverage holder. So we have a hinged lid. We have one for milk crates. So we have a wide variety there. And then lastly, we have our cam leader with flip cap. These are always real popular around Cinco de Mayo for salsa. This is just a way to refill the little containers that are on at the, at your table in a restaurant. So instead of having to replace the little carafe every time, you just use this to fill in the salsa, but also you can think juices, wine, anything like that. So it has a threaded top, it eliminates the risk of spills. They work really well. Oh yeah. Lastly, we added a green handle pan. This is for this was chain specific for Beyond Burger type meats, so that they could differentiate them from our amber high heat material. We have a new and improved website. Feel free to check it out. We have a great app, tons of resources on there. We have cost calculators. We have the catalog on there. So lots of information there for you. And then also we're active on all the socials. We love to connect with you. We're always looking for testimonials, pictures. We'll connect and interact with you. We're on Instagram, LinkedIn, X, Facebook, TikTok, I guess. I mentioned Cambro.com, and we have the app as well. So reach out to us, connect with us. We want to interact with you guys. It's always fun to part of the business of our business to do that and recognize operators out there who are passionate about our brand and IFG.
Let me minimize that. Okay. So on the first page here, you guys are going to see my cell phone number and my email are there. I'm the Southeast Regional, but for any of you who are potentially out of my territory, you can reach out to me for any questions you have, or I can point you in the right direction to who your regional might be as well. But we're going to go, this is going to be pretty simple and pretty quick. We're just going to cover some of the applications for Southbend and then for Crown's theme. If you guys already know about it, great. Could be a refresher. If you don't know it all, I hope you learn at least something today. So let's see. Okay, hold on. Okay, there we go. All right, so starting out with Southbend, we're going to cover the ranges. Our S series range is going to be our entry level, right? And I say entry level, but if you compare it to something like a lot of times our Ultimate series, which is our middle ground series, will go up against like a Vulcan Endurance, right? But as of late, I've kind of been looking at the similarities between my S series and the endurance range from Vulcan. One thing to note is that my S series, being the entry level, is actually 15 pounds heavier. So if you look at like a standard 6-burner, my S36D is going to be 15 pounds heavier than an endurance range. We use a lot more stainless steel applications. We still have metal knobs. So it's just something to think about going forward, only because I do start with the Ultimate Series range on here. So with our Ultimate Series, you're going to have 2,000 plus customizable options. Okay, so we can do anything from, we can do suites with the Ultimate Series, and we can do batteries or just standalone units. So you have any options from an open burner setup to char broilers, griddles, or hot top options as well, ranging anywhere from 24 up to 72 inches. And we are the only manufacturer in the industry to offer this configuration that you're seeing an example of, which is a 5-burner. So that 5-burner setup is still going to be a 36-inch footprint, with the grates in the back being 18 inches each. And those are going to have our Pyromax burners on the back there. So our standard burners up in the front are going to be our non-clog burners, which come with a lifetime warranty from Southbend. And they are, again, our standard burners. Those are going to be at 33,000 BTUs each. And then in the back, we have our Pyromax burners, which range up to 45,000 BTUs each. Now, for any of you who have seen a 6-burner range being used in the field or in the kitchen, they always have stock pots on the back, and then they're always sauteing up in the front. So to me, this is the only range that actually makes sense. I'm not saying that because I'm biased and I work for Southbend, but you can clearly see the application. We have Chef Jason working on it in the example above there. This is something that I'm trying to get on showrooms. I'm offering special nets for anybody who might be interested. But then again, even getting this out into the field, nobody really knows that we have this. I hate to admit, Southbend we're just really bad at marketing the past 10, 15 years that we've had this range available. So this is something to consider when somebody asks you for a 6-burner. You can show them why 5 is actually greater than 6. But these Ultimate Series ranges are going to have 100% stainless steel burner boxes. They do come standard with an on-off gas valve. Okay, so I don't know how well you can see it in the photo to the bottom left, but on the far left there on the range, there is an on-off valve. This is going to be a great application for your churches, for schools, fire departments. This is the only range that they buy from me. And again, that's going to cut off gas to the entire range itself. Now, a lot of times for these types of customers, what we want to offer as well is going to be the battery spark ignition. Okay, so battery spark will be standard on the oven bases, but it is not standard on the tops. Okay, so you can add that in. Very simple application. You click that and you can get the burners or the pilots going so that they're not standing all day, right? If that ever does go out and you want to look like a superhero to your customer, just untwist the button and it's a AAA Energizer Bunny sitting in there powering it. So it's a very simple application. We do also include on these 100% personalized oven interior and exterior. That's going to be simply because I know that end users are hosing down my equipment at the end of a night. This is going to prevent any rust or buildup from compiling inside of that cavity there. If you do ever, I don't know why you would, but if you do ever pull back that panel on the side there, you'll be able to see the insulation working inside. And on the little oval down here, we have our spring and chain assembly. So that is going to be the same operating system that is on our Platinum Series ranges as well. They're rated up to thousands of openings and closings, which we tested using a robot, just opening and slamming a door shut in the factory. It was hilarious if you didn't get to be there to witness it. And it's also rated the doors up to 300 pounds of pressure. The reason why I want it rated to 300 pounds of pressure is because an end user standing on my oven door and breaking it so that they could clean the vents up top is not covered under warranty. So we've hopefully eliminated that by allowing the doors to withstand that much pressure. I typically don't stand on the doors because I think the one time I do it for people or for an audience is the one time it's going to fail and snap. That's just me being me. Moving on to the Platinum Series. So Platinum Series is going to be 5,000 plus customizable options. Okay, these are the heavy hitters, the heavy duty ranges meant to be used and abused. You can see an example of an island suite that we built up at the top there. We've got our salamanders, we have a char broiler, we got our French tops, different variety of oven bases and cabinet bases that you can do here. You're also able to put in a Truvection. So at the bottom left picture, see that weird looking oven base we have there. That's going to be Southbend's Truvection oven. Essentially, it's a convection oven that's been shortened to 3 racks and it's been widened to 36 inches. What this allows is for the air circulation to actually work more effectively than it would in a convection oven base, which most people just use as a finishing oven, if you will. This allows you to, if you were baking a cake, for example, you actually don't have to turn the pan halfway through to get an even and precise cook across the top. So it's a very good application. And again, it is only available on Platinum Series or what I like to call the poor man's Platinum Series, which is a Truvection oven with a counterline item mounted on the top. Before the applications here, you can, if you look at the Island Suite, we can get that powder coated any color that the end user might want. We can add engravings or etchings in for the name of the chef or the name of the restaurant. In the little windows you see there, we can even put back plates in that light up behind them, again, to do chef's name or the name of the restaurant. And we can switch those out if leadership or ownership does change down the road. We can always put a new piece in. But again, these are going to be 100% stainless steel construction down to the nuts and the bolts. We have heavy duty stainless steel cooking grates, porcelainized oven, interior and exterior. We have the heavy duty door with the chain and spring mechanics. And then again, we have anywhere from 12, 16, 18, all the way up 48 and 36 oven bases. There's a lot of applications that you guys can do with these units. Absolutely. So these are going to be our heavy duty counter line, right? The example that I have for you guys is going to be the griddle. We're utilizing 1-inch thick steel plates, snap action thermostats, and we actually drill 3/4 of an inch up into the bottom of the plate to have our thermostat sitting inside of there, because at the end of the day, I don't want to know how hot the plate is. I want to know how hot my food is, right? And if you can see my very terrible drawing inside of that X-ray vision there, that's supposed to be a snap action thermostat. I do challenge anybody giggling at me to go on Google and look one up, and I think I did a pretty darn good job, everything considered. But our models do range anywhere from 18 to 72 inches that are available. 304 stainless steel construction. If you get the thermostatic option, you're going to have 30,000 BTUs per burner and 20,000 BTUs per burner on a manual. And there's no cool zones. The entire top is going to be hot, and it's going to operate the way that it's intended to. We also offer a char broiler line for our counterline options as well. So our Southbend Platinum Series convection ovens. For those of you who've been in the industry for a little while, you'll notice that last year we did change the name or the nomenclature to our ovens. Reason being is we had essentially a good, better, best, like everybody does, and we had the bronze, the silver, and the gold. The issue that we ran into was going to be that for certain bid projects, let's just say, you know, we would get spec'd in with our gold series oven, which was at 90,000 BTUs per cavity. And then somebody would come in with a Vulcan, you know, a VC44, which is 50,000 BTUs per cavity. And if I tried to swap out my gold for my bronze, the end users were feeling a little shafted. Because obviously if I take gold away from you and give you bronze, you're going to feel pretty bad about yourself. But not only that, you know, it wasn't a fair comparison. You could imagine the price difference in the powerful 90,000 BTU oven and then, you know, what was my bronze oven. So we just went away with it and said, we're just going to do a platinum series overall. But now you're no longer going to be limited to what options you can get. And by that, I mean, you used to not be able to get bakery depth on a bronze oven. I would force you to go to a silver series, which was 70,000 BTUs, and then you could get bakery depth, but now you're spending more money. It's not really fair. Same thing with touch controls. If you wanted touch controls, you had to go to the 90,000 BTU oven. And it didn't make any sense, right? So what we've done now is we've made it completely customizable. So everything you see in this lineup here can be switched out with another option that's down at the bottom. But for an example, all of our convection ovens now are going to start with PC for platinum convection oven. The next letter is going to be your power source. So you have either G for gas or E for electric. And then you're going to have the power output. The only time that this gets confusing is the example you're seeing right here. So a PCE 75, that 75 does stand for 7.5 kilowatts, right? So 7.5, they just would not let me put a decimal in the nomenclature. And so this double stacked would be a 15. And again, that's going to make it easy as well. If you have a 50,000 BTU oven and you want a double stack from the factory, you just 50 plus 50 is 100. You want 100,000 total BTUs. So it'd be a PCG 100. But moving down, you have your depth. So standard or bakery. Then you have your controls, touch or standard, and then your doors, dependent versus independent. I am still not a fan of independent doors, but some of our competitors offer them. And so that we could match every spec that's available, we now are offering independent doors. But again, going through this, you can swap this out for any application. You can fully customize it to your customer's needs. And again, if you were to order a PCG 50, let's just say, or I'm sorry, a 100, that unit will be double stacked from the factory. You also have the option, if you don't want them pre-stacked from the factory, you can just order 2 single units and we'll send you a stacking kit and they can be done in the field. Looking at the end there, that little dash V, you'll notice that it says electric only. So on every Southbend electric oven, we do offer a ventless application. Now, the cool thing about that is that we also can field convert. So any Southbend electric oven from 2015 to present day, so within the last 10 years, we can actually field convert to ventless. As much as I want you guys to sell a new oven, you don't actually have to. And the reason why the ventless application is so important from us is because we actually utilize an internal catalyst, so we're not adding anything to the footprint. So for those of you who have seen, I always use Blodgett as an example, and it's not to knock them, because I think Blodgett are the kings of convection, as I call them. But we're not adding anything to the footprint. There's not a whole hood that's attached to the oven that's another foot or foot and a half tall on top of it. We're not adding any space to the back. This unit, this catalyst, is bolted in interiorly with like 4 bolts, okay? The other cool thing about this application is that it does not require any maintenance, right? It doesn't have an additional power source. The metals naturally heat up with the heat of the oven itself. You don't have any filters that you need to replace, and you do not have to clean it. So it works just like the catalytic converters on your car. We're taking those grease vapors in through the fan. They're going through the catalytic converter, which is naturally heated up. Those precious metals are heated up from the heat of the oven, and it's dissipating them into carbon dioxide. not carbon monoxide, which I did accidentally say at one of my presentations. That would have been a one-time use oven, so we don't do that, just so there's no confusion. And for those of you who do want this page, I can send it to anybody. We are also EPA 202 certified. We tested these units in LA, Chicago, and New York with bone-in, skin-on chicken. So I have those certificates I can send to everybody as well if need be. So that's going to do it for Southbend. Jumping into the Crown Steam side of things. Just remember, so Crown is a kind of a newer company as far as we're all concerned, right? Crown, for those who don't know, for the longest time was actually manufacturing products for Vulcan, for Cleveland, for Groen, for everybody. The issue they ran into once they became their own brand, per se, is that they did not advertise that they were the ones building anything, and they didn't put the Crown badge on anything. So, Middleby purchased Crown, we became our own entity, and nobody knew who the heck we were, even to know they'd been buying from us for 30 plus years, right? So just something to keep in mind. You get that customer that says, hey, I've had this Cleveland unit for 20 years and it worked fantastically. I want to buy another one. Technically speaking, that is a Crown unit and not a Cleveland unit. So jumping in here, we have our ETPs. So this is going to say Market Forge. Anything from Market Forge that's getting discontinued is being brought back as a Crown unit. We've made it easier for all of you so that now any model number or any model that is under the Market Forge name can actually be looked up in a queue under Crown Steam. So you don't have to keep going back and forth. But this is going to be our ETP 10. So we offer it in electric or gas. It is Energy Star rated. You have an independent generator for each cavity, right? Which is good because that means if one generator goes out, you have the other one that can back you up. So the unit's going to have way less downtime. 10-pan capacity at 64 inches in height, which is huge, okay? That's the same thing as the Southbend double stack convection ovens, right? We have the shortest in the industry. So it's 64 inches in height. I'm not a very tall man myself. If I could show you me standing next to one, you would see a great example of it. But this is going to be a lot safer in the kitchen, especially when we're reaching to that top shelf. I've had some instances where end users could not use the top two racks because of a safety hazard or somebody burned themselves. We do utilize the bottom cabinet down there for the water filtration system. Ease of access when you have to swap it out or if you have to perform any maintenance. And something to keep in mind is that with Crown Steam, every purchase, we actually include the water filtration system and we also include the drain tempering kits, all right? All of our competitors are actually charging you guys extra for that. So that's a pretty good benefit and something that I need you to keep in mind. So the efficiency of this unit, 13 gallons of water per hour, right? So we're saving your customer over 6,000 gallons of water a week. And again, you can see here the next line, the built-in drain tempering kit at 130 degrees. So for K through 12, this unit is going to get a 3-year warranty. So, and I'll cover this again at the end, but Southbend convection ovens are all going to have a 5-year parts and labor warranty for K through 12 only. And everything from Crown Steam is going to have a 3-year parts and labor warranty. And that's, again, every product that Crown offers. So for our boilerless steamers, we have electric and gas options that are available. So the CSE is going to be our electric. The Sirius models will be our gas, but we have anywhere ranging from a 4 up to a 12-pan capacity. Less than 2 gallons of water per hour of usage, which is absolutely insane. But the ease of this one is that, again, it's boilerless. Gosh, I always trip on that word. So you're just wiping down the interior, right? You don't have to worry about descaling or deliming or any of that buildup that typically happens on a steamer unit. But what I really like about this one is the 3 cooking options, which you can see on the screen right now. So our main competition is going to be an AccuTemp with this model. And from what I've been told and from what I've seen, in order to adjust the cook temps on an AccuTemp, you actually have to go inside of the cavity with a wrench, basically, and adjust a bolt. And that's going to be able to give you the different steam temps. We just have a switch on the outside. It's got 1, 2, and 3, 3 being the super steam option, right? So we have our low temp cooking, which is going to be for gentle cooking, seafood, leafy vegetables. We have standard steam, which is everyday use. If you're a fan of hot dogs, I know I am. That's where you're going to be at for the hot dogs there. And then super steam, right? That's high temp, frozen foods, root vegetables, anything of that nature. This is also Energy Star, depending on territory, and rebates may be available. And again, K through 12, healthcare, restaurant cooking, but this is going to come with that 3-year parts and labor warranty for a K through 12 setting. So for kettles, we do have the largest selection of kettles in the industry, right? Anywhere from half a gallon all the way up to 100 gallons. Okay, and we have stationary or tilt, and a lot of different tilting options available, manual to electric. Fully jacketed and 2/3 jacketed options are available. I'm going to try to describe this best I can. For those who do not know the difference between fully jacketed and 2/3 jacketed, imagine that you have a pot and you slide it into a larger pot, right? Almost acting as a sleeve, and it comes up all the way to the top. That's going to be a fully jacketed unit. If it only comes up 2/3 of the way, that's going to be a 2/3 jacketed. And what that's allowing us to do is to get all that heat and all that steam around the edges so that we're just cooking the product up even higher instead of on a standard stock pot, for example, where the heat source is only at the base of the pot, right? So it's just going to help us with a lot more recovery time. That's a good way that you can think of it. So a 2-inch tangent draw off is going to be standard on stationary equipment. It is optional on tilting. We do offer 3-inch tangent draw offs, but do keep in mind that you cannot swap this after the fact. Okay, so if you do order a unit that's got a 2-inch on it and you find out later on that you need a 3, we cannot change that out in the field. We would have to offer a whole new unit. So it's really good to ask those questions ahead of time. Hey, what are you going to be cooking in this? If you're constantly doing beef stroganoff or something that's a little chunkier like that, I would highly recommend going to a 3 and not a 2. These are all made from 3/16 stainless, so it is going to be corrosion resistant. And so again, widest variety and the shortest. Again, we pride ourselves on our heating power and for having some of the shortest equipment in the entire industry. You can see the example in the photo there, 37 inches floor to rim. So it's the lowest in the 40-gallon class. Moving on to tilt skillets and braising pans. I was asked a while ago what the difference was between a tilt skillet and a braising pan. I'm very glad that I did not lie or try to BS the guy who asked me, because when I did later find out is that they are the same exact thing and they just have 2 different names for some reason. So don't make a fool of yourselves like I almost did. But these are available in gas and electric. Some things I really like to touch on these is the EMTS 60 that you're looking at, for example, is that it's a 60-gallon braising pan, but it's in the same footprint, which is 48 inches, as a 40-gallon braising pan. I wish it was a cooler story, but all they did was they took that top lip and they raised it about 2 inches, and that gained us another 20 gallons of space there. But we do offer, which unfortunately, by my own nature, I did not put it in this slide, but we do offer narrow options as well. So you'll take the SKG 40, for example, add an N to the end of it, and that's going to give you a narrow option. It's going to be a lot of space saving, but you're still going to get that 30, 40 gallon capacity, which is absolutely huge.
I must admit. And I had him, we created this little information document for you all that I'm going to actually send out. And what Middleby University is it their own like training system that they have that you can actually learn about all the Middleby lines and take courses. And these courses will actually, I don't know if any of you all are working on getting your CFSP certification. These courses do help with that. So they actually have on each one of them, I haven't registered yet, so sorry, but each one of them have like a specific hour amount that it will account toward getting that certification for you all. What we had them do was to create a specific link for IFG. Normally when you register on their portal, you have to kind of go through like an approval process. So you input your information, business name, and all that, and then it goes to the team at Middleby, and then they kind of filter through and then they approve you. Well, this link will auto approve you. So when you actually go on to the website for Middleby, you'll input your information on here. Now you have to use that specific link I'm sending you on the PDF for this to happen. So you'll create all of your account here, input all your information. One really important thing on here with your email address you have to use a business email. You can't use a Gmail or a Yahoo or Hotmail or something of that nature. I don't know if anybody would really do that or not, but you do have to use a business email. If you don't, it will automatically reject it on here. That is also on the PDF that I'm going to send over to you all right here. So it basically says, you know, you can't use just whatever email you want to. It does have to be a business email address. So just set up your account and it automatically fills in Innovative Foodservice Group. So that's what this link actually accomplishes. And then you're going to select your IFG business unit. So we'll kind of be able to see, you know, which ones are participating, which ones aren't, etc. from the Innovative Foodservice Group. So once you register, you're going to be able to get in there and see they have it outlined from brand. They've got like Crown, Southbend. I think there's some Follett maybe in there, some different Middleby portions. So they have those separated out as well to be able to see and be able to do training on there too. So in combination with IFG University and this, it's a really good starting point, you know, for not only new people, but veterans too, to kind of keep up to date on, you know, what's going on with Middleby and kind of what's going on as far as the companies that we're working with go as well. So we've got that in play that I'll send out to you all. If you've got any questions or anything like that, please let me know. And I'll send out Steve's information too. He's a good resource he's the Middleby training specialist. So he's a good resource for like if you have any problems or maybe you don't get your certification hours correctly or something like that. So does anybody have any questions about this or any comments about Middleby University? No? Okay. All right. Well, like I said, I'll send this document out after the meeting along with the SPINF information from Southbend and Crown, the rep group information. That way you just kind of know what to expect from them. And then again, just to point out here too, once you get registered in Middleby University, you'll no longer use that specialized link. You'll just go to Middleby University and actually plug in your username and password. So you're set up in there and you can log in whenever you feel like you want to. So anything to add, Chris, that I might not have covered?
No, I mean, you covered it very well. Middleby U is going to be a much better version of what you all just endured with me this morning. Steve is a great teacher and it's very, very good. You guys can access this at any time as well. I'm even on there a lot of times and I learn something new from time to time. So it's a great tool to use. It really, really is.